Brooklyn Independent Television.
Parking in Brooklyn has always been an issue, and now a new plan in the City Council may bring permit parking to Brooklyn neighborhoods. Sherry KARABIN has the story.
The relief of finding a parking space. The trouble is, it can be a difficult task in some New York City neighborhoods, including downtown Brooklyn, especially in areas surrounding the upcoming Barclays Center.
Parking is definitely getting difficult. I'm in this area a lot, and for instance, today I must have circled about 5 times, for at least a half an hour looking for a park, and we just stumbled upon this one.
In early November, the City Council voted in favor of a resolution that asks the New York State Legislature to pass bills introduced in the State Senate and Assembly that would change the law to allow a resident parking permit system in New York City. As Councilman VINCENT Gentile explains, the idea of resident permit parking is not a new one. It's been discussed in the past. However, there is a reason it's getting another look.
The impetus here is really the Atlantic Yards coming into being, and the fact that people down there are very worried that they're not going to have any place to park as everybody runs down to park around Atlantic Yards.
The latest legislation will be considered by Albany next year. If passed, it would be implemented on a neighborhood-by-neighborhood basis by the City Council and Department of Transportation. Communities could choose to opt into it with public hearings being held before it could take effect in an area. But Councilman Gentile, whose district includes Bay Ridge, Bensonhurst, Dyker Heights, and Bath Beach, says permits are not the cure-all that people think.
It's really a misconception to think that a permit would guarantee you a spot. It doesn't. It wouldn't guarantee you a parking spot. It would only allow you to park in a certain area if you found a parking spot. And that's the key. You still have to find a legal parking spot.
So it sounds as though there are no easy solutions to the parking problem in New York City.
Exactly. It just the way the structure, the physical layout has been put in place, was never envisioned the number of cars that we now have to deal with.
But don't tell that to residents who live around the Barclays Center. Many of them welcome the idea.
It would be great for the residents that have cars, and I think it's pretty good. People that live here should have precedence over the people that just kind of come in and out for work on the Atlantic Yards project.
Or what about when the stadium actually gets up and running?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Without a doubt, I would be in favor of it.
I could actually get a car at a decent rate through my job, but the idea of parking around here is something I can't even handle. The fact that you have to move around so much and then just having to troll around for parking, especially at night when it's dark, and if I had to park far away, I wouldn't feel safe. If I had more likely chances of getting a parking spot, I probably would have a car right now, yeah.
But this Bedford Stuyvesant resident, who often drives his car into the Atlantic Yards area, says residential parking permits would cause him even more grief.
It's already bad, and if you do that, only people that live in this area would pretty much be able to find parking. But they also have the mall there too, where you're not gonna, everybody comes here to shop, so there's no way you're gonna find parking again. It's just compounding the problem.
If the legislation is passed, permits would be issued for residential streets, with a portion of the streets being left open for non-permitted parkers. Areas zoned for commercial and retail uses, as well as metered spaces, would be exempt. This longtime Bay Ridge salon owner knows all too well the troubles his customers have parking, but he's not sure the permits would eliminate their problems.
I'm sure it would help for somebody that has it, but the problem is parking, spaces. That's what we need.
If the proposal becomes a reality, would your district be affected?
I have not gotten any indication that Bay Ridge would be part, or Dyker Heights would be part of any pilot project. We don't have a ferry stop here. We have the express buses.
Since those requesting the permits would have to pay a fee, the idea could bring in additional revenue. According to State Senator Daniel Squadron, who introduced the Senate proposal, the funds would be used to improve public transportation. But Gentile thinks there are better ways to help residents and raise money at the same time.
One idea that I've floated is maybe where someone who might be handicapped, a handicapped driver, to reserve a spot in the evening near the place where they live and pay for that through a DOT permit, whereby they could have that spot reserved for them. Because I do hear from a lot of people who have trouble parking at night, and some of them disabled.
As the city waits for the answer from Albany, one thing is certain: the issue is likely to generate a lot more debate.
Sounds as though you don't support the idea.
Currently, it's been described to me. I don't. I'm just hoping that if it does happen, it's very limited. Particularly, I would think it would be more around the Atlantic Yards area and the areas near the ferries and commuter areas.
For Brooklyn Review, I'm Sherry KARABIN.
Follow us on Twitter at BK Independent TV.